After hearing from some of the residents here at Alan Walker Village, I thought it might be appropriate to speak with the chair of the Residents Committee, John McFarlane. John, it's a delight to speak to you with a lovely Scottish name like that.
Thank you, Keith.
Look, we've got over 260 residents here in over 200 different units. How do you manage to keep everybody focused?
As chairman, I'm simply, by the Constitution, chairman of the Residents Committee.
Yes.
And I chair those meetings, and we do have one a month except for January.
Yes.
And also part of my brief from the Constitution is to chair a residents' general meeting.
Yes.
Now they're a little bit more difficult.
Yes, I bet they're fun, aren't they?
And it's fun, especially when we get questions from the floor.
Yes, and that's really, in a sense, it's good to hear you say that, because what we're dealing with is a community in every sense.
That's right.
So you chair this monthly meeting. What sort of things does the Resident Committee look after?
Well, at the moment, we've got a very big job in hand. A few months ago, a resident passed away and left the residents of Alan Walker Village over $500,000 at bequest. And so we have to work out the best way of being able to use that money according to her will. And we've retained Hunt & Hunt solicitors to help us.
Yeah.
And now we're dealing with our Constitution, because it has to be changed to accommodate everything.
And week by week, there are things that occur in the village that are important. Is this a happy village?
A very happy village. People are walking around with smiles on their faces. When we decided to move here, I was born and grew up at Eastwood, which is just next door to Carlingford.
Yeah.
Went to Eastwood Primary School, went to St Andrew's Presbyterian Church, and I married, and we were living at Cheltenham. And then we retired, and so we said we need to go to a retirement village. And we said we want to stay in the area, but we would like to have some kind of Christian ethos in the village. And we came to Alan Walker Village, and we haven't been disappointed. It was the best decision we've made.
And how does your faith impact what you're doing? I suspect when you've got a big meeting and everybody's talking about something, it can be challenging. But how does it impact you day by day?
Well, the important thing for me is that at all of the meetings I chair, we start with a Bible reading and a prayer. And at the residents' meetings, we get a resident to offer the prayer, and that normally sets the tone for the whole meeting. Yeah. And people who might want to ask questions, sometimes they think of that prayer and they don't ask questions. So they're normally quite easy on me as chairman. But my faith, it's very important to me. I've been an ordained elder of the Presbyterian Church since 1966. I've served on sessions at Armidale, Beecroft, Bowral and Goulburn. And so that's a very important part of my life, the fact of going to church.
And I think that I'm never ashamed to say this, that the ethos of our villages is Christian.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes people talk about these villages as though they can just be something that encompasses everything. Well, we can't do everything, but one thing we can do is ensure that that real emphasis and that real priority stays there. And that's something that Wesley Mission and the Residents Committee and the community here can be assured about, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's one of the joys of being chairman, the people. The people in this village are so lovely, have Christian and caring. They're lovely to me, and I just love the fact that they can come up to me, they can approach me in the corridor, they don't have to wait for a meeting to come and talk to me about their problems or something they might like to introduce to improve the village.
Yes.
And this goes with being able to talk to the manager.
Yes.
And his wonderful caring staff.
Yes.
And they look after us night and day. That's a very important part of the life of this village, the Christian ethos of the manager and his staff. It's very much appreciated by us all.
So there is a sense in which you have independent living units, so there's the privacy of that independence.
Oh, yes.
But there's definitely a joined up link, isn't there, with each other?
Yes. Well, as you would know, Christmas lunch, we have about 200 sitting down to a hot meal.
Yeah.
And this is all done by Adam, our manager, marvellous young man, who has turned this village around, I might say. And he has organised another hot lunch for us on Christmas, for our Christmas lunch. And he gets so many of Santa's helpers to come and serve that meal.
Sure.
They're thinly disguised as Wesley helpers or carers.
And look, we're now, I hope, moving out of the hot weather, but it just seems to continue. It goes on and on and on. And you can tell from the sweat running down my face. I've enjoyed talking to you, John. Thank you for giving us the time, and God bless you, especially in those big meetings which you chair.